RC1 talked about inflation. This was a fairly straightforward RC passage. It talked about how inflation is high, it has been high, but it's likely to decrease. However, the author says that, okay, while it is likely to decrease over the next few months, that shouldn't mean that we convince ourselves that our problems are over, the inflation problem is over. Now, however, then the author gives reasons as to why it is going to come down. Okay, so because of the oil market, it was overshot till now. Now the price of gasoline is going to come down, right? Then also he talks about something called a bullwhip effect, that the bullwhip effect had caused supply chain disruptions because of which the prices were higher. But now those supply chain disruptions have eased, right? And the bullwhip effect is in a way going back, flicking back. Right. So he talks about these reasons as to why inflation is going to decrease in the coming few months, at the same time maintaining that that does not mean that our inflation problems are over. This is what the RC passage was about, fairly straightforward. Question 3. Which of the following statements, if true, would invalidate the supply chain disruption example given in the passage? That means it would weaken it significantly, it would make it redundant, right? Make redundant. That is what I am looking at. Now, A says, as demand for a product increases, its supply does not increase in the same proportion immediately. So, in that case, there can be supply chain bottlenecks, right? In that case, there can be a supply chain disruption. So, this is actually supporting what the author also said about supply chain disruptions. This cannot be the answer. So, here you had to apply your logic. B. People buy the same amount of a product or service no matter how much the price changes. This is about demand, isn't it? We are talking about supply chain disruptions, right? So it does not talk about the supply side at all. Eliminated, incomplete, does not talk about the supply side at all. C. For some products, the higher the price, the higher is the demand for it. So again, it does not talk about what will be the impact of this higher demand on the supply, just talks about the demand side. Again, see, just through elimination, I've arrived at the answer. An increase in the demand for a product will likely lead to higher supply. In that case, see, if the demand for a product increase, labeling this like this, the demand for a product has increased, because of which the supply also increases to meet this demand, right? And if the supply increases to an even greater extent, if the supply increases to an even greater extent, what is going to happen? There will actually be a reduction in the prices, a reduction in inflation, right? Because now there is more supply in the market than demand in a way. So if this happens, see, there are no supply chain disruptions, there will be no inflation. It goes straight away against that supply chain disruption example that has been extended by the author, because that example shows how, because they were not able to increase the supply, the inflation happened, prices increased. This gives the opposite of that. So absolutely, this invalidates that example, the toilet paper example, supply chain disruption example that had been given to us, right? And even the example towards the end that there were no shipping containers, etc. So D, Delhi is our answer here again. Just through elimination, you could do it. Easy.